Look, fast. If you got a problem, I'm pulling up. Strap. Big booty bitch and I'm pulling on. Tracks. I play with them words, I play with them birds.
This is his decision.
I'm stating facts. When I'm in
Well, you spent half your life in prison.
Yeah, I used to trap. I do a brick like Jordan Woods. I cut a zip off, but right before that, make up what I'm serving. Let's go to work and got us some
And, you know, Florida's just different. But yeah, man. Shout out. Touchdowns and Tangents, Thursday night. Good News radio station. I'm Pete D. Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Frank James Barry. I actually hate Kevin Gates' music. I just think this is the only song that his that slaps.
So if you hate Kevin Gates' music, why are you playing it?
Well, earlier you trashed Rally, so I decided to throw in that screenshot of me playing this song.
Oh my
so
God.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
And who's this lovely voice to my left?
Serve, aka Social Media Serve.
Social Media Serve.
Hey.
What's up? So how was your guys' week?
I made it here, so it was a good week.
Serve?
Good, stressful, good.
She's trying to get the hell up out the country.
Yeah, I'm leaving less than how many hours? Less than like 12 hours. I'm out.
Really? Are you all packed?
No. No. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm staying up all night. I'm gonna get high as fuck all night. Pack. Do what I need to do. So by the time I get on the plane, I'm high as fuck on the plane. Go to sleep. Wake up with munchies. And
You know what's
for a bunch
funny
of
is
peanuts?
like stoners are always like, oh, I gotta get high to do this. And it's like,
you don't know. I really don't. No, but I'm trying to be as high as I can. So when I get off the plane, I have the best munchie experience. So I'm not like coming down.
You're gonna get high enough to be high for like 12 hours on a plane.
Yes, if I smoke hella woods, take dabs, and then eat a whole edible.
You got a system.
Oh yeah, I got a whole system in my head.
You ain't gonna puke at all.
do they have cannabis
You
over
said
there?
how many dabs?
They probably do, but I'm not risking it. My brother, like,
You shouldn't do drugs in Japan.
no, yeah, I know. I've heard that they have people who like out there, but they will put you to jail. That's why I'm like trying to do all this.
They
shit
don't
right
have
now.
it legally?
No, they will like
They
cut
will
your
lock you
hand
up
off.
for a half a gram for like 4 years. I looked it up.
Really?
They hate that shit. Like, bro, you ever
That's wild.
remember the opium crisis in China and all that? Like,
I'm not doing it.
Asian countries don't play when
They're
it comes to
super
drugs.
strict. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
no
but
Asian
weed
jail.
isn't a drug.
No, but that's they don't
care.
They don't care. That's a whole different country. We are
It's
not.
it's a narcotic.
The only time I'm in the United States is once I step in that base with my brother. Other than that,
Yes,
That's crazy.
That facts. They're not playing.
Considering like all the like Western influence that's there, that's
yeah,
crazy. That's
no,
not.
like yeah, like economically, like when you shop, when you buy stuff, it's definitely like they accommodate to us, but
It's definitely like a mix of Western and Eastern culture.
But it's still they're still there.
yeah, but that
its own
Japanese culture
culture.
because it's all like. We don't realize once you step out a whole other country that America is mixed. So when you go to Japan, which is such a homogenous country, you're just like, what
Facts.
the fuck? Like, even though there's people on the base, and trust me, there's hella black people, hella Latinos, hella white people on base. Once you step out, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I am only one of how many people out here that are not Japanese. So you just stick out like a sore thumb so they can tell you're a tourist. Unlike out here, you know, it's a hit and miss that you're a tourist. Unless you start interacting with them, then you're like, but once you're out there, they're like, oh no, you're a tourist. So that's a whole different ball game.
But yeah, on that note, shout out to X Squad affiliates, shout out to FPC Radio, shout out to your favorite podcast app where you can find this every Thursday night and every day after that. The one-stop shop for NFL takes and topical tangents. Without further ado, sorry we're late, but let's get to the content. So,
I need you to pick your energy up, Pete.
speak for yourself. Your energy low as fuck too.
I'm just reserved.
You said 5 words this whole thing, your whole story.
Yeah, because I wanted to actually listen.
I think we put all of our energy into that ladies' night episode on Friday.
Nah, you put all your energy in ladies' night. I gotta honestly go a second round. I need some James.
Whoa, all
I'm
right.
glad I didn't drink. I'm glad I didn't drink today. It was a rough week.
But yeah, so one of the big stories of the week, kind of developed throughout the week was the unveiling of the XFL. The logos are out. The cities are out. And what did you take away from all that? Yeah, I'm on my.
Oakland still could get a team, and you still can't close it, can't boot your bottle.
I'm playing with it.
You hate to see it.
I can't close it. I'm just playing with it.
Just like all these leagues playing with the city of Oakland, not giving them a sports team.
Well, actually, Oakland didn't want the XFL, if you remember.
Doesn't matter.
XFL, and the A's didn't want to share their stadium anymore, so.
The lie is better than the truth sometimes. And when it comes to sports and politics, especially city politics.
I mean, would you rather have them not be there, or would you rather have them be playing in Santa Clarita or San Francisco and on the Bay, whatever?
I don't even acknowledge that other
the
team.
Oakland, whatever.
Oakland sports is dead.
Completely dead.
Like, no one gives a shit about the A's. They're never winning anything. Like I told Sean. Like, that, we're going to keep small balling and pinching our pennies, but maybe make it to the first round of the playoffs, only get bounced by the Red Sox again. Win a title, then you can get some respect. Other than that, it's a dead sports city. Golden State's going to San Francisco. Oakland sports is dead. It's over. High school, it's just high school football and basketball and high school sports, and that's it.
That was really fucking sad.
And all the Pac-12 schools are going to poach all the talent, and then you'll hear a couple of them went to Washington. By the way, shout out to Lawndale High. 3 of their players committed to schools. The quarterback, Jalen Daniels, committed to Middle Tennessee State. Their coach, he coached Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, a couple other people. And McKellistein and I totally spaced out on his name. Joshua Jackson. I can't remember anybody's name. This is ridiculous. But anyway, they're starting corners at Lawndale High School, both committed to the University of Washington. So there. But yeah, the only thing you can look forward to when it comes to Oakland sports is like McClymonds High Schools. McClymonds High School, shout out to my mom's alma mater. And by the way, Bill Russell went there too. And some of the greatest black people, went to McClymonds High School in Oakland. And a couple, like Oakland Tech, a couple other high schools. But really, when it comes to the city of Oakland and sports, you just have youth sports, and that's it. And gentrification. That's it. That's all that's left for Oakland, sadly.
Yeah, man. So one of the other things that was kind of pointed out with the whole XFL was the Houston teams, Houston Roughnecks.
Why does Texas have 2 teams?
Because they're Texas and they love football. CC,
Bro,
all their
high school teams have bigger budgets than some college programs.
CC, the 30 D1 college teams they have there.
Bro, they're high school. There are high schools in Texas that have better weight rooms than some D1 programs.
I believe you.
And that's not even close.
So the Houston Roughnecks pretty much took the old Houston Oilers logo and just like fused it with the Houston Texans colors and pretty much just called it their own. Something like that.
Infringement. Because that's what it might be.
And then there's also the LA Wildcats, which is a terrible name for LA.
Horrible.
I would have rather have been the Vipers, to be honest, but the Vipers are Tampa Bay, which again, I don't know why they're going into that market because they have it hard enough.
They have wrestling schools in Florida. Their major wrestling school, Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW, is huge in Florida. It's where a lot of the developmental talent is. So whoever doesn't make it on those XFL teams will just be right there in Tampa. I think that's why Texas, they have strongholds in certain cities and certain states. So
the DC Defenders.
It's DC. It's always good to have a team or some business going on in Florida because there's always something.
The New York Guardians.
It's New York.
Orlando Renegades.
Again, Florida. Orlando.
I'm sorry, Dallas Renegades.
Dallas. There you go, sir.
The Renegades and the Roughnecks, the new rivalry. Yeah, I honestly...
Elijah Jackson, my bad. Sorry.
The St. Louis Battlehawks, which their logo doesn't even have a hawk in it. It's just wings with a sword in it.
So, sir.
No.
Yeah, I saw that.
You tried sitting down, and gravity said no.
And then there's the Seattle Dragons, which looks like a NFL Europe team.
I've almost slipped and fell out of his chair like 4 times.
If I would have went left, that would have been.
That'd have been the end of the show.
Yeah.
Push the whole table off.
I was not gonna leave off on that note, no, because y'all would have roasted me the whole thing and come back.
You would have heard it in Japan. There've been stories about it. I'd have made sure I'd hashtag everything, put it in the Medium story.
So my whole issue with the XFL is I really don't know how they chose these teams, because I would have thought they would have hit St. Louis, Oakland, like Orange County, like
they don't need Orange County,
Orlando, like these secondary NFL markets that don't have a team.
I told you,
or
it's
like have a
too,
team,
bro. It's XFL. You got to look at where they're training, where their performance centers at. They have a huge performance center in Florida, and like they have OVW, they have Ohio Valley Wrestling, they have FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. It's the XFL. You have to remember that. It's Vince McMahon in charge. So there's a lot of wrestling schools in Florida. There's
only one team in Florida, and it's in Tampa Bay.
Still, doesn't matter. And then what were the other ones you said? Like there was one in DC?
Yeah.
And then what was after that?
New York, LA, St. Louis, Seattle.
St. Louis Rams. Think about it.
That's the only team. The St. Louis team is the only team that really makes sense to me.
Yeah, because they could probably play in that old stadium. If
all the other teams already have an NFL team.
They can play in that old stadium.
All the other teams already have an NFL team, so I don't really think they're going to be able to attract a lot of interest unless they're going to start poaching talent like the USFL and getting number 1 draft picks declared with the XFL, which I doubt with only an 8-team league.
There's always going to be people who want to play football, so you have to look at it like this. If they're going to play in St. Louis and they're going to bring football back to St. Louis, because they already have a team in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
That's a sports-hungry town. And yeah, it's not basketball yet, but they missed the Supersonics. And the way that
but what I'm telling you is that's not going to make them miss the Seattle Supersonics.
I agree,
Supersonics less.
People love a distraction. Love a distraction.
They just recently, like, I would have went to Portland. They should have put a football team in Portland over Seattle.
You're never going to outpace the Trailblazers.
You're never going to outpace this. What you're saying makes no sense.
No,
you're never going to outpace.
McMahon isn't trying to compete with NBA. He's not trying to compete with.
You're never going to outpace the Seahawks.
Outpace the Trailblazers was a great line, and I'm mad nobody appreciated it.
You're never going to outpace the Seahawks.
Outpace the Trailblazers
in Seattle.
Did you hear what that's the episode title, since no one wants to hear it.
You're never going to outpace the Seahawks in Seattle.
Doesn't matter.
Even the Sound, even the WNBA team, and even the soccer team there are big.
I think the soccer team has female ownership now.
Why would you go? Why would you go there?
Doesn't matter. We'll find out.
Why would you go to LA that already has 2 football teams?
Because the LA Kiss worked.
Not
LA
really.
Avengers worked.
Not really. They were literally giving LA Kiss tickets away. LA Avengers went under, didn't make it.
But they were
LA
good
Kiss
for a while.
was Anaheim. At least that made sense. That's what I'm saying. It really doesn't make sense, and I really think this league is going to flop now. I honestly think we probably would have been better off with the AAF.
I think they're tying it because NXT, they just said NXT is going to be on the USA Network. Where else do you think?
Like I said, I would have put it in secondary markets where there aren't already NFL teams. So I would have put it in, like I said, Anaheim, Portland, Orlando, Las Vegas,
Orlando Magic,
I
Reno.
want to do Anaheim.
There's Vegas Arena
New
Football,
Jersey.
if I'm not
Yeah, but Arena Football League is in the spring.
Yeah, but think about,
this is a fall league, so that's what I'm
all
saying.
those sports that are in New Jersey.
There's not really a lot anymore.
Hockey, basketball.
Hockey and basketball. What do you?
They take up
basketball's
the headlines
in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but they take it up even
basketball
in the
moved to
even in
Brooklyn.
the off season. They take up the headlines. So a story.
But we're not talking about headlines. We're talking about.
Bro, you think he doesn't want headlines?
We're talking about attendance. You need attendance.
I understand.
You need to get people in the stands. That's why the AFL didn't make it. The AAFL.
Yeah, I get it.
They did not make it because they didn't have TV interest. They didn't make it because they didn't have ratings. They didn't make it because they couldn't